Welcome, dear listener, to something quite new. It's called Podtime Stories, and it's made just for you. Chronicles dark and grotty, the littler ear may find it too nasty, but you've nothing to fear. These tales, they seep out of a most twisted mind. It belongs to Luke Aldridge, and I know that you'll find that they tickle the brain and the soul in equal measure. Look deep down here for your listening pleasure. So come with me, friends, and we'll share this account. Some may make you think just a smallish amount, but if you are worried that this tale could be true, I'm sure that it's nonsense. Quite sure. Now, are you? Welcome to Podtime Stories.
Hello, lovely listener, and welcome to our final story in this season of Podtime Stories. I hope that you're doing okay. Now, this is a little bit different from usual. I'm chatting to you at the beginning rather than wanging on at the end of the story. This is due to a little change in what we had planned. This story is going to be soundtracked by my old chum, Fiona Troon. Due to a few time-based things, we're still putting the soundtrack together. So, this week's pod is the story read by the lovely Neil Roberts. I hope that you enjoy it and that you luxuriate in his dulcet tones, as you already have done over the weeks on the introduction. All being well, we'll have the same story soundtracked out for you next week. If not, it'll be in the next week or two. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be plopping into your pod box in the not too distant future. In the meantime, stay out of trouble, keep smiling, and sleep tight. Don't let the pod bugs bite.
One fateful night when our tale is set, a story that's not designed to upset, or to startle, or scare you is not my intent. But scares sometimes happen, even if they're not meant. A day unexceptional, much like today. And that day turned to night, as is often the way. I popped on my PJs and went to the loo, and did all those pre-bedtime things that you do. I slipped into bed, and I snuggled deep down, cozy and warm, with no one around, except for the dog, who was snoring quite loudly and taking up most of the bed rather proudly. I lay on my side and let my thoughts drift. Cross magical lands, Macamoo, Ma, and Mift. My eyes, they grew heavy, and I let my lids close, and relaxed my body from hair down to toes. But what happened next chilled me down to the bone, a feeling so feely I had never known. That I could feel such things, not inside but out, something that now I would never doubt. Over my shoulder a voice spoke to me. The volume was pleasant. The level was wee. But it didn't appear to come from anyone. The voice didn't sound like my wife or my son, or daughters or neighbours, or one that I knew. I wondered, oh, Doggles, did you hear it too? The voice itself came as quite the surprise. But what it did ask me brought tears to my eyes. Ruling out children or even the wife had given me quite the fright of my life. Alone in the room, just Doggles and I. Only one probable option appears to float by. That a spectre had visited me from somewhere else. Not the tooth fairy or elf on a shelf, but something had come from the great unbeknownst to pose me a question, and then leave me alonest. I lay wide awake, part in shock, part in fear, trying to make sense of what happened here. Why pick on me, ghost? Now what had I done? Was there deep meaning, or was it just fun? Eventually I managed to fall into slumber, but after a few hours of wondering if there was more to this nocturnal story, or would the wife enter to scenes rather gory? Nothing as drastic. I woke in the morn, the question still with me. I felt quite forlorn. Reflection suggested no harm was intended, But damage was done, and it had to be mended. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Indeed, a simplish question, not that much thought needed. But dig past a name, or a title per se, and tunnel right down to the part that is way, way, way deeper than skin and than muscle than bone, to the part that speaks to you when you are alone. In this world, no, not that bit. It's deeper down still. It's deeper than memory, deeper than skill. Keep right on going till you feel like you'll pop. Then keep on going, don't dare pause or stop. Turn left at that next bit and then take a right, dig out of the darkness and into the light, and there you are. You. The most youiest you ever made. Your core and your values and your you is laid, oh so vulnerable like when you came into this world. It is you deep inside you, all squabbly and snarled. What happens if you dare to look deep in those eyes? What greets you may shock, or might even surprise. But you cannot avoid what you really are made of. The good bits, the bad bits, and what you're afraid of. We sat there a while, my you and my me. Cake was not offered, not one cup of tea. Had I got the wrong you? This did not seem to fit. I always give cake to the people I met. A while went by, was it seconds or months, or maybe all Wednesday, or perhaps all flumps. But we spoke without uttering one single word. He didn't say nothing, but the message was heard. We said our goodbyes in a silent-y way. He put in some music, I think Marvin Gaye, and he bogled about as I started my journey, back to myself, be it slimy and squirmy. I opened my eyes, and I felt quite refreshed. I didn't feel lonely and far less depressed. The question that caused me much worry and stress had been kindly answered. I mean, more or less. But what did my you tell me, down in the depths, once I had dug down and I took all those steps? Exactly the message that he gave to me. You want me to tell you? Just give it for free. What I was told I shall never share. What I was told shall stay deep, deep, deep down there. But if you feel ready to journey down too, just ask yourself this. Who are you? The end.
Who Are You was written by me, Luke Aldridge, and read by Neil Roberts, with art by Simon Chilvers. Editing, sound production and general oral wizardry by handsome Bob Field. The introduction was read by Neil Roberts. Saxophone and clarinet was played by Toby James. Guitar by Simon Coleman. Keys by 80s Dave Oliver. Bass by Andrew McKinney. The theme was written by me. I also played drums and stuff. The Podtime Stories logo was created by Martin Herity, and the pod was written and produced by me. Podtime Stories is a Papa Bear Chronicles production. Text and recording copyright Luke Aldridge 2024. The right of Luke Aldridge to be identified as the author of this work has been asserted by him in accordance with the Copyright Designs and Patents Act 1988. All rights reserved.